episode 12 of the Cozy Moth Knits podcast. My name is Caitlin, and you can find me here on YouTube as the Cozy Moth Knits, where I do this bi-weekly podcast where I talk about my knitting endeavors, my process through learning and developing my skills as a knitter, as well as possibly learning other crafts. That is my goal for 2021. You can also find me on Instagram as the Cozy Moth Knits. That is a social media website where I am most active, maybe not so much in posting. I try to post semi-frequently, but definitely in engaging with other people in the knitting community. So I answer DMs, I respond to comments. If you're a follower of mine, you know that about me. And then I'm also on Ravelry as Cozy Moth Knits, though I am very rarely on it. I really use it only for buying patterns at this point, which I know I need to get better at, but it's just not high on my list of priorities this year, which maybe that's upsetting to some people, but you can find me on Instagram. So this is episode 12. Here we go. It is a dreary and wet day here in northern Delaware. It's just gross. It's a gross day. I ended up really sleeping in today, which is not something I normally do. Normally I'm up between 6 and 7 because that's just the time I have to get up for work. But today I slept in until 10:30. It is now 11:30, so I literally rolled out of bed. I made myself some coffee. I slapped on some makeup and put on, a sweater to look nice for you guys, and I've started filming. Excuse me, I'm looking over my notes over here. Today I am drinking a big old cup of coffee. This is Trailhead Coffee Roasters, and they're located in Oregon. And I went to the Pacific Northwest this past summer, like late summer in August, when things were starting to look better. I think August, a lot of us, at least over here on where I live, we're like, okay, things are getting better. We're starting to see, like the end is near. Like, it's gonna be fine. So we made the decision that it was okay to fly across country and explore the Pacific Northwest out there. But then we came home, things started getting worse again. But anyway, we were out in Oregon, and I bought a lot of coffee out there because, when you're out there, you're supposed to buy coffee, right? So I ended up buying three bags of coffee just for myself. So I'm getting, and that was back in August, and then I bought 3 other bags of coffee for friends and family. So I'm getting close to the end of this one. This is the Trailhead Coffee Roasters from Oregon. This is their Sunrise blend, I believe, which is so good. And I just put some some oat milk in it. It's very lovely. But yeah, so we're at the end of February. I will be posting this on February 28th. And I'm filming on February 27th, which is not normal for me. Normally, in the other 11 episodes that I've done of this podcast, I normally film this podcast on a Thursday or a Friday, and then I will spend Saturday editing, and then we'll have it posted by Sunday. But this week, I don't know what it was about this week. I just couldn't, yesterday I came home from work and I was like, I just can't get myself together to film. So I sat on my couch, I ate my lunch, and I watched Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar, which was definitely worth the time and worth the $20 for early access. I recommend it. I feel like a lot of you guys would like it and appreciate it. I think it's very funny. Kristen Wiig, you can never go wrong with Kristen Wiig in any of her movies. It's very funny. But yeah, I feel like coming, this past week has really put the cherry on top of February for me. February has been really hard for me. I don't know why. Like it's February is such a short month, but I feel like it's been dragging on for years. It's February's just been a month where I've had like very like lack of motivation. I feel like even like doing small things like loading up the dishwasher or cleaning my bedroom, you know, like I feel like I just like haven't been able to, you know, get that, you know, have that drive to do stuff, you know. And I'm sure it's seasonal depression. You know, I want to get out of winter and into spring. And I know, I'm sure a lot of us are feeling this way, but it's been weird. I can normally handle things like this very well, but and like distract myself from a lot of things, but like even like my main distraction, knitting, like I found myself like a few times this month being like, I can't even knit today. Like I can't like pick up my needles and, you know, whatever project I'm working on, like I just can't do it. I don't know, it's weird. Yeah, I'm having, yeah, like even like sitting here filming, I've been sitting here for half an hour trying to start this podcast, but I kept messing up and kept tripping over myself. I couldn't find my thoughts. Dogs were barking, things were happening. I'm just I don't know. It's just hard. It's hard. But I want to do this for you guys. Obviously, I'm sitting here, I'm doing it, and I don't want to be one of those people who's like, sorry guys, no podcast this week. I just wasn't up to it, because that's not how I am. I'm going to do my best for you guys. Hopefully, as the caffeine goes through my body, I'll liven up a little bit. I've also been, like, in addition to just like not having a lot of motivation to do stuff, I've had a lot of time to think about the future and what that looks like for me. Like just like not like the far off future, but just like within like the next couple months or a year or so. Work is finally gonna start distributing the COVID vaccine, which makes me very happy. I've said this in the past that I just want things to progress. I want things to move on. And it's like, okay, so if I get my vaccine, I'm doing my part, things are moving forward. So hopefully they're going to start distributing that in March or April. So I'm looking forward to that. Really am. Another like personal thing, I decided to reevaluate my spending. I'm going to put a spending halt on myself until July. That means no more buying knitting stuff. I told my husband I want him to like hold me accountable, and you know, like I promised him, you know, like, okay, like I'm not gonna spend not gonna spend money on knitting stuff unless it's required. And things that are required are needles and materials for a project. Like if I decide to do another test knit, and if I don't have the right yarn in my stash, then I could like go to Michael's and buy yarn from there to do that test knit. So because I have, you know, a bunch of projects in mind that could take me out at least until July, and I have all this yarn here, and then also yarn underneath the bed in front of me, I shouldn't have an excuse. And then in addition, I'm graduating in May. I'm graduating with my master's degree in library science, library and information science. So I'm excited for that. And I got an email on Thursday confirming that they are having commencement, which is kind of surprising, but also kind of not, because my school is in Georgia. So, you know, the southern states, COVID isn't that big of a deal, right? Or at least from what I can see. So we're trying to figure that out. We were looking at plane tickets, and of course, like for two of us, you know, because I don't want to go by myself, you know, me and my husband, it would be like $500 for a round trip. And like, we know it isn't that much, but we're like kind of disappointed, and we're like, like, now what do we do? So I think we're thinking about renting an SUV, because we both drive, you know, like sedans. Renting an SUV, and then driving down to Georgia, and you know, if we need to stop, like, you know, and taking our time getting down there, and then like stopping at like a campsite and like sleeping in the back of the SUV or something, you know, like trying to make an adventure out of it. I don't know, I feel like I'm watching too many like van life videos where it's like, oh yeah, well, you know, if Hannah Lee Duggan can just drive into a campsite and sleep there overnight, like we can do it, like, you know, like like we should be fine. We'll get a sleeping bag and put down the seats. You know, the things that, you know, I think about. So that's what's going on in my life. I'm probably gonna edit a whole bunch of that out, but yeah, that's what's going on. So yeah, just a lot of things on my mind, trying to, you know, just trying to work it out. Oh, so another fun thing that I did, which I wanted to share this story with you. So, backstory. My church that I attend, very, very small church. We have like we have like 50 members, and that's just members, not including regular attenders. Anyway, so my church has historically been, like the congregation has been like young families. So, like families with children, basically. And very rarely are there couples in the church without children, or couples in their 20s. So Phil and I were the outliers immediately. So, which is why they kind of set us up to be the youth leaders, because, you know, we're cool and hip, right? I think of that Steve Buscemi meme where he's like, "How you do, fellow kids?" That's how I feel sometimes. So as time has gone on, we've seen a couple more younger couples and younger people join the church. So my pastor came up to Phil and I, and, you know, just casually said, it's like, you know, like there should be, you know, he's like, you know, our church like doesn't normally have stuff dedicated to young people because there haven't really been any. But now that more and more people are starting to join, like there should be something for the young adults to, like, you know, an incentive to stay, like, you know, oh, here's something for you. Because it's very hard for young people, young adults especially, to get plugged into a church, because most of the time churches are young families or older people, and that's what it's catered to. So the young people, like with their crazy schedules and like different priorities, you know, like it's hard for them to get plugged in. So, you know, in that casual conversation, I took it upon myself to start the young adult ministry, very casually. It's a very casual thing. Like I don't have, you know. So we had a Christmas party for the young adults, and that had a great turnout. And so I came up to my pastor and said, I think Phil and I want to start scheduling or getting stuff on the calendar every other month for the young adults in our church. And he was like, great, you know, do it. I trust you, you know, just tell us what you're doing and we'll put it on the calendar. I'm like, cool. So we decided for February to go ice skating, which, you know, it's a winter activity, you know, it would be cool and fun. So there's in southern Delaware, I don't know, it's like southern middle Delaware, there's this town called Harrington. And Harrington is where they have the Delaware State Fair every year. And there is an ice skating rink there. And most of our young adults are in Dover, which is central Delaware, the capital of Delaware, actually. And so we thought, well, and Harrington's only like 20 minutes south of Dover. So we're like, well, let's go to, you know, the Harrington skate center or whatever it's called, and we'll go ice skating. So we you know, plugged it to everyone. Everyone's like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. But then only, you know, one couple ended up coming. So it was me and Phil, the other couple, and then some friends that the other couple brought along, which was nice. So I have never been ice skating, which again, shocker, like I said a little bit ago, I never did anything growing up. I've been roller skating. I roller skated a lot when I was little, but I'd never been ice skating. And so I thought, well, it should be easy enough. It's like roller skating, and I've roller skated before, and I've rollerbladed before, so I mean, it's not entirely impossible. Y'all. Let me tell you. So, like, first of all, I already felt kind of like embarrassed because only one other couple showed up, so it was like a weird double date. Two, when Phil came home from work, right before we were about to leave, he was like, we should wear our hockey jerseys, because we both have hockey jerseys for the San Jose Sharks, which is Phil's team. I bought Phil a hockey jersey last year for Christmas, and Phil bought me one this year for Christmas. And I was like, you know what? Sure, let's do that. It sounds like fun. But then we looked like that weird couple who has matching hockey jerseys, and like I felt awkward about that. Not that anyone cared. I mean, like, it's an ice skating rink. There were kids in hockey gear there. There was someone wearing an Arizona Coyotes jersey. Like, there was Flyers jersey or Flyers gear everywhere. So not unheard of, but still, I felt like, again, that weird couple who dresses the same, even though it was different jerseys. Anyway, so I get the skates, and I'm walking on them, and they're weird. And I'm like, okay, this is fine. I can do this. I get on the ice, and oh my God, I could not figure out the feet movement. I was so embarrassed that like I couldn't figure out how my feet should go. It was slippery. I don't know why I thought that ice wouldn't be slippery. But so I'm and like the first go around, I'm like gripping the wall, and I'm pulling myself along the wall, and I'm like busting up my fingers. Oh my gosh, like my pinky's all busted up, and I was just so embarrassed. I like could not. So I got off on the next way out, and I sat on the bench, and I just like watched people. I'm like trying to like the wheels are turning in my head, like, okay, like what do I do? How does it like because like Phil wasn't much help. No offense to Phil, but he's not very good at ice skating either. But he's ice skated in the past before, so like, and like we're two very uncoordinated people. So eventually, we're watching our friends going around, and they're being very sweet and like understanding, and we're like like I'm like, it's okay, like I'm gonna get back out there. I just need to like think about it for a moment. So I get back out there, and I'm holding on to Phil's hand, and we're both going like this, like the whole time. It was so embarrassing, and we're like barely holding on, and God, I was a mess. So the night ends. We were there for like an hour and a half, and then all of us were like, okay, we're done. So we're leaving, and we drop our skates off, and the guy who like owns the place, and he like looks at us, he's like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. Like directing to us, because it's the end of the night. There weren't many people there, because it was like from 8 o'clock to 10 at night was the free skate. So like, again, not many people there. So he's like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. He's like, next time you come, we're gonna sign you up for the Learn to Skate. And then we're gonna get you to learn hockey, and then you're all gonna be on the hockey team together, which I know he was like, trying to be nice and friendly, Harrington's like down home country boy town, which, I get that, like, but I was also like, oh God. I'm like, but as embarrassing as it was, I'm like, when can I go back and practice some more? Like, I want to be good at it. So, and it's like, it's only an hour away from us. I'm like, I'll definitely go back. But yeah, like I had dreams about it last night. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, good Lord. That was a mess. It was such a mess. But it was fun in the end. Definitely memorable. I will say that. so we're half an hour in and I've talked nothing about knitting. So I wanted to talk to you guys because I realized that I never talked about, all throughout February I didn't talk about the Cozy Acorn Knit Along, which I apologize. So there's so many things, you know, in hindsight is 2020. I should, like, so many things I'm thinking about I should have done better with this knit along. I should have done better marketing it. I should have extended it longer. Because I'd already extended it once. But I should have extended it another month, I think. I don't know. I feel like I could have done better and I apologize. But anyway, so for the Cozy Acorn Knit Along, we ended up having 2 winners because 2 people finished in time. They finished before the knit along started on November 15th, 2020, and it ended on January 30th, 2021. And there were 2 prizes and 2 people ended up winning. So I didn't feel bad for leaving people out of the winnings. So the 2 people who won, I'll pull their names up. So the first winner was Jenny, and here is her finished cardigan. It's beautiful. I think she said it was she knitted it as a gift for someone, and I think it's lovely. And she ended up winning Knitting Nakabi's 2 of a kind. It was called Cozy Acorn was her yarn, and it was dyed with acorns, and she dyed it especially for the knit along. Hopefully it got to you, Jenny. I haven't heard anything from you. I sent the prizes in the beginning of February. So yeah, I hope that you get it and that you make something beautiful out of that yarn. Our second winner is Anna Lee, right? Is that how I'm saying it? Anna Lee. And here's her finished object. It's beautiful. I loved her finished object pictures. Snow, and it's so magical and beautiful. Anna Lee is from Finland, so that was pretty cool to have, you know, someone win internationally. I do feel bad because when I took the prizes to UPS to send them out, I gave them the address that she provided me, and they're like, "Is this right?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Addresses are different in Europe." So they did end up calling me this week and were like, "Hey, they're having a hard time finding our house. Can you give us, you know, her contact information?" So, but thankfully she ended up getting it this week. I'm glad that she got it because I was a little bit worried, and I ended up, you know, people will be like, "Oh, why'd you use UPS? It's so expensive. Like, you should have used DHL or whatever." I'm like, but I chose UPS because in my experience, UPS has always been very reliable. And because, you know, these are, you know, I didn't want these prizes being lost in the mail or anything. So that's why I chose UPS. But Anna Lee won the Autumn Acorns yarn, Judy's yarn. And I'm so glad that she got it. I was nervous about her getting it. So yeah, so that's the end of the Cozy Acorn Knit Along. I was happy that a bunch of you, you know, intended to participate or were participating but didn't finish in time. I still want to see your finished objects. You know, it's the pajama cardigan is such a fun project to knit, and I hope that you guys loved it as much as I did. So yeah, and if I end up doing a knit along again in the future, I promise to be better at it. That was my first one, and like I said in the past, please be patient with me, and I appreciate your patience. So anyway, let's move on to more knitting stuff. I only have one finished object, and that is my Chesley toque. And here it is. And I love this hat. I'm so happy that I made it. I love the details of it. It's just a lot of fun. It's a long hat. Like, this is it without the brim rolled up. But this is such a fun hat. It was so fun to make. Super easy. and I'm so glad that I made it. I wore it ice skating last night. And I love the fit of it. I love how it's like loose up here. I just like how it looks on my head. Again, sorry. A neighbor just came home and May is losing her mind. Yeah, Knit Picks is the base yarn. I don't remember the name of it, but I'll put it here. It was just a worsted weight Peruvian wool, I think it was. And then the mohair is Ritual Dyes in their Fay base, which is their mohair base, and the color chestnut. And again, I'm really happy with this hat. I've worn it all week, taken it to work, and wearing it in the mornings because it's been chilly here. And I just love it. I just love the details of it. This beautiful lace work with the eyelets, and I love it. I love it so much. I highly recommend you guys getting this pattern. It's such a fun pattern. And again, like, you can knit it in a day. I think it took me 2 days to make it, but of course I wasn't knitting it all day. So yeah, that's the Chesley toque. And such a fun pattern, fun hat pattern. So it's my only finished object in 2 weeks. Whoops. So let me show you the other 2 things that I'm working on. I have 2 sweaters on the needles. Wow. So my first one I have in my Ritual Dyes bag. Just kind of stuffed in there. This is the Montrealer sweater that I'm making for Phil. I'm trying to here it is. I separated for the sleeves. I'm about almost halfway down the body. After you split for the sleeves, there's like a certain amount of rows, and then you mark where a pocket's gonna be, because Montrealer sweater is a knitted hoodie. So there's gonna be a pocket like here. So and there's that, and then you knit more of the body, and then ribbing, and then you pick up for the sleeves, and then you pick up for the hood, which is why the neckline looks so weird. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's very at this point it's just TV knitting at this point, like just knitting in the round over and over again. And my stitch marker is from my friend Lindsay. She sent me a bunch of or a couple stitch markers. She was intending on making stitch markers, but she said things have come up in life and she's not quite ready to continue that. So, but if she starts making them again, I will let you know. But it's very cute, little K. So yeah, that's the Montrealer sweater. I am nervous about the hood. I don't know how that's gonna look. So yeah, I hope that it turns out well. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I like how the increases for the sleeves are looking. I like the color in general, this like grayish. I think it's nice. I think it'll look good on Phil. But yeah, so that's my Montrealer sweater, or the Montrealer sweater that I'm making for the Scaniac Sweater Worthy Mal. And yeah, I figured I would, I was planning on making this for Phil anyway, but including it in a mal, why not? So, and that mal is, I've mentioned it in the past, but you have 6 months, I think it is, to make something for someone you love, whether it be a spouse or a friend or a loved one, in a sweater's quantity worth of yarn. So it doesn't have to be a sweater. It could be like a big shawl. It could be a blanket. It could be, something. A sweater quantity is worth of yarn. And just making something for someone else. So, yeah. So there's finished, or not finished object, that's whip number 1. Whip number 2 is a second sweater. I have it in my Twisted Yarn and Fiber project bag. And this is my second Cozy Classic Raglan. And y'all, I'm obsessed with it. I am loving it. Let me get it all out of the year ready for it. Look at how pretty. It's so lovely. I just split for the sleeves as well. My goal was for this week is like, I need to get the cowls done so I can show it on the podcast. I'm really, really liking it. I think it's so pretty. But the yarn for this sweater is, the main color is Bumblebee Acres Haku in their squishy sock base. Haku is a discontinued color. It came out in the spring of 2020, and Phil bought me 4 skeins worth for my birthday last year. And I was like, you know, I'm gonna make a sweater out of it. So it has these beautiful blues and purples, and then you can see some pinks on the back. It's just so pretty. And I love the increases. I love how they look. I think they're lovely. So yeah, that's my second sweater. I'm making it my first Cozy Classic Raglan, my orange one. I made a size large because I wanted something a bit more oversized, but I'm making this in a medium. So I want it to be a little bit more tight on my body, or like with less positive ease. So we'll see how that goes. I think it looks fairly good so far. My stitch marker that I'm using is this little star guy from Forest Charms. It's Maria of the Woolen Forest. And I just think it's so pretty and so cute, and it matches the vibe of this sweater. So yeah, that's my whip number 2. So hopefully my intention is to have the body done for this sweater come the next podcast, and then maybe the body done for this one as well. Maybe not, at least the body, not the pocket just yet. But I don't know, we shall see, they're all my intentions. Again, like they're both at a point where it's just TV knitting, and it's just knitting around and around and around. So I could just, you know, not pay attention while I knit it. Well, you know, pay attention, but you know what I mean. Like I don't have, you know, increases I need to look out for, or, you know, stitch patterns that I need to follow. Yeah. So those are my 2 whips. Yeah. Oh, I have one more thing. I have an acquisition. So my dear friend Tracy of Grizzly Knits started making she's Grizzly on Etsy. She started making progress keepers, and so of course I had to go and get myself one. So this is one of her progress keepers. She named this one Rocky Mountains. And I knew I had to get this one because having seen the Rocky Mountains, I'm sure many of you have, but like, you know, they spoke to me. They really did. And I love the color combination of these. I don't know if you can see them very well. Maybe if it'll focus. But I just think they're so beautiful. I think she did a great job with these. So I can't wait to put this on one of my sweaters. But I wanted to show you guys first before I, you know, took it off the thing. So, in her cute little bag that says Grizzly on it. It's so cute. I love it. She did such a great job. I'm so proud of her. She also has a podcast. It's a Grizzly Knits podcast. So I recommend you go check her out. she has such a very soothing and calming vibe to her, and I think you guys would like what she makes and like what she has to say. So definitely go check her out, and also buy her stitch markers on Etsy, and I'll have all her information linked down below. So, and I think the last thing that I have to talk about is after the success of 2 weeks ago, I had a knit night, a virtual knit night, and it went so well that I know that I'm gonna do another one. I think I want to do them monthly. So I'm excited for that, and I haven't picked a date for March quite yet, but if you follow me on Instagram, I will, I'm hoping this week to have a date set and a time set, and I'll post on Instagram information about that. I think because I did the first one that I did, the first virtual knit night I did, I had it start at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we had several people from Europe join us, which is awesome, Europe and the UK. And which was so sweet because it was like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock their time when it started. And so that was so sweet of them, they were able to join. But I think the next one, it's going to be earlier. I think I might do like 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time or 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's like in the morning for people on the West Coast. I don't know. What do you guys think? You know, if you're on the West Coast or whatever, or like outside of Eastern Standard Time, Central, Mountain, or what's the West Coast one? I don't remember. Pacific. Like how do you feel about that? Like, would you attend something that's in the morning, like at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock? I'm trying to trying to make sure trying to make it inclusive, you know? So I'm still thinking about that and mulling that over. So yeah, keep an eye out for my next knit night. And again, I think I'm gonna do them monthly because, you know, I just love spending time with you guys and getting to know you and hearing your voices and seeing your faces. It's awesome. And I really had such a fun time with it. So I think that's all I have to share today. You know, as always, I love spending time with you guys, and thank you again for your patience with me today. I think that caffeine is definitely kicking in now, and you know, things started to make more sense as the podcast went on. I think maybe did it? I don't know. So thank you so much for watching. I really, you know, again, love spending time with you and getting to know you and visiting with you every couple weeks. It really does mean the world to me. You guys are such a big part of my life now, and I'm very thankful for each and every one of you. So, so if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell. That way you get notified that, you know, I'm posting a video, even though I post at the same time every 2 weeks. But still, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. And make sure you comment down below, because I like to keep up with the comments, especially the days that I release the videos. Love chit-chatting with you. Send me a DM if you want. I love talking to you guys, not just, you know, in this format, but, you know, in the comments and through DMs and stuff. So anyways, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe out there, keep knitting, and I will see you all later.